Okay, everyone, the Angry Hacks are here. Thank you for tuning in to episode 37 of the podcast. Ooh, big weekend in football. Big weekend in football, boys. Michael, how we doing this good evening?
Chilly up here.
Chilly up north
tonight. Yeah, very chilly tonight, but doing well.
All right, very nice. And Stan the man, how's it going, brother?
Feeling good or looking good?
You're always looking good.
That's right. So we got two main topics today for everyone. We're going to talk some football, break down week 14. A lot of movement, only a few games left, and then we got playoffs. And then also, guys, a little treat for you, some hot stove baseball. We're going to talk some off-season hot stove baseball. Winter meetings just began, and we're off and running. We are off and running, and it starts at the top with those pesky Yankees, but we'll get it. We'll get there. We'll get there. Rye, what'd you see from the Giants on Sunday? Because I don't know. I can't stand watching this team anymore.
Well, I saw a pretty solid first half from the Giants. I really liked what I saw. Eli from Gallman, except for the fumbles naturally. I just liked what I saw, but we just don't have any talented receivers out there. Shepard clearly wasn't 100%. Just kind of fell apart. But we were in this thing for a while. And I was okay with Saw. There was no lack of effort. They definitely tried. We just lost the football game.
Agreed. Well,
so, yeah.
I'm with you. I mean, for the first half was, it was tight, and Dallas was doing a lot of dropping the ball, which was nice to see. I think the thing that killed the momentum in that game was the Dez Bryant touchdown. I think it was like 50-something yards, 50 yards, something like that. But that killed us going into the half. I mean, we got the ball back, and then it was just a stupid drive to end it. But that just killed us right there. That was it. And then two more big plays by Dallas, one being that 81-yard quick little slant play to Rod Smith out of the backfield. And that was it, man. And that's the problem with this defense all year. I mean, other than guys being out a lot and guys being injured, it's been the big friggin' plays. Giving up the big plays. It's been rough. It's been rough to watch, man, on defense because, you watch a defense last year that just put up top 5 numbers and just absolutely won us games last year and rode crap-a-doo to the playoffs last year. And then when you get a few injuries, you get a guy like Eli Apple who's just like, where do we go with him from here? He's just healthy scratch as I'm using a hockey term, but that's basically what he's been the past couple of weeks. Like, what do you do with this guy? And this team is just fell apart on defense. And it's clear that this team is going to get a top 3 pick in the NFL draft.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, we're up 10-3 in that game the other day. They scored 28 unanswered points. And in doing so, the Cowboys scoring plays were 50 yards to Dez, 81 to Rod Smith, and 15 to Rod Smith. So all pretty big 1-yard rushes there. Those are big splash scoring plays.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like you said, we preserve this top 3 pick. Jimmy Garoppolo is going to get us a top 2 pick, it looks like. Because I don't be surprised if the San Fran team doesn't win a few more games here.
I agree.
So, I mean, who knows what direction we go? But basically, we have the choice are going to have the choice of who we want this year.
Yeah. Talk to me. What do you feel about this whole Eli Apple thing? This is the second week in a row that he's been healthy, and they've just sat him. What the hell is going – like, what the hell?
See, last week it doesn't shock me, or it doesn't become that big of a deal to me because Wackadoo McAdoo is still running the show at the time. So anything that he does, I'm like, really necessary. Like I just question everything he does. So I don't believe that there. I didn't necessarily believe there was that big of an issue in practice or whatnot. But the fact that Spags is now the coach and that defensive guy, and he's not starting him, don't now the red flags are now raised. And at the end of last year, I was thinking, if you redid the draft, 10 pick, if you know, or a top, legitimately, like you would draft him there. But after watching him this year, he's like a seventh round pick.
Oh.
It just doesn't. The drop off is unbelievable here, and it's scary. But now the red flags are raised, so I don't know. I don't like this. It doesn't make me feel good. You know, it's kind of it's not the headlines.
Yeah.
Apparently
Let me tell you.
that he's been tweeting out.
No, tell me about that.
Oh, that gets interesting.
Oh, that was during the game, right?
He retweeted. Well, this is what I heard. Sorry to cut you off there, Stan. After the Rod Smith touchdown, right?
Yeah.
One of the media outlets just tweeted the play. You know, it was a nice play, whatever. And now Eli Apple was college teammates with Rod Smith, if I'm not mistaken. So there's Eli Apple, a healthy scratch, like you said, for the game, retweeting that video of the Cowboys scoring a touchdown against his team during the game. I mean, so yeah, so this kid's not playing. That's concern enough, but a lack of awareness here is shocking, really. I mean, you can't do that.
It's something you can't. And these guys are coming into the league. They're coached not just on the field, but they're coached about
all this shit.
And they should, and they should know. Now, we mentioned 2 games that he's been inactive. This is actually 4 games in a row. I don't know if you realize that. This is the 4th game in a row. So these tweets come in the 4th game. So this just adds to the frustration. This adds to the stuff. Like, these tweets. So now I wouldn't be surprised if they punish him and bench him for another game. I mean, he might have been benched anyway. Good.
You could probably fine him. That's got to be some sort of violation of team rules.
So apparently Spags, which I love. By the way, did you see Spags' presser? What a breath of fresh air! What a breath of fresh air! I didn't have to watch McAdoo, which was great, but Spags was honest. He spoke like he was nice. He was funny. He was serious. Yeah, I mean everything. He gave you everything. He was like a DiCaprio performance. I mean, the guy gave you everything out there.
And he didn't say, "Well, I have to look at the tape."
No, and he talked about having a conversation with Eli Apple about this, that he was disappointed. I told him I was disappointed. We'll decide exactly what we do with it. He apologized. We move on from that. I get it. I respect that. Okay, McAdoo Wackadoo would be like, I gotta look at the tape. I don't know that he did this. I didn't hear about this. No, Spags is like, oh yeah, I heard he did it. I talked to him about it already.
Yep. Yeah. Take control.
I mean, he's been there before. He's been a head coach. I mean, it didn't work out well for him, but I mean, he knows how to handle the media. He's a nice little Italian guy. I love his little Italian accent too.
Stevie.
It's great. But it's a good guy running the show right now to finish off this just torrid season. It's been horrible. But dude, I mean, this Eli Apple pick, like you said, Rye, is turning out to be like a 7th round pick. He is just he makes it worse too. I feel like the only good things that came out of Sunday for me were those jerseys and the standing ovation they gave Eli. That was it. Those jerseys are great, by the way. I love them.
Solid jerseys. Love the standing ovation.
I mean, that was the only good things that came out of that game. And you knew, and right, we talked about this, man. We talked about we couldn't wait to watch Sunday because of the fact that the fans were going to do this for Eli after what he just went through for that whole week, that whole miserable week. And it was beautiful. It was nice. It was nice to see. And he acknowledged the fans right back, which, is not shocking because of the stand-up guy he is. And what's disheartening is my mind is kind of all over the place about Eli because, they're talking about where is he going to be next year. I mean, this whole season, I had no doubt in my mind that he'll be around for another couple years, maybe like 2-3 years tops. But now, like, they're talking about where he's going to be next year. Do you like this talk? I know you don't, Rye.
I don't mind if we draft another quarterback, someone that, like, I would like to know what we got in Webb, in one of these games. Like, I know that, the benching of Eli has happened now. So, there for a second half of a game we're losing, is okay. But,
exactly.
And if we quarterback, if we think, I don't think so. I don't like these guys that are out there. But if the Giants brass thinks they can get a franchise quarterback here, you draft him, you play him under Eli for next year, and maybe another year after that. And then after that, I think you kind of, mix. Talk to him about it. Be like, listen, we're going to draft this guy. We want you to tutor him. We want you to be the starter next year. We'd like for you to be the starter the year after that. And then we kind of want to roll. If he's ready, we'd roll with him. What do you think? I'm sure he'd be on board with it. I just don't like Sam Darnold. I would like Rosen more, but I don't trust that either. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really know until the guys actually get there. It's tough to really. I mean, they got so much. Those two guys, Rosen and Darnold, got so much hype in the beginning of the year and this is going to be the best quarterback class since in years, whatever. With also that guy from Wyoming, Josh Allen, him too, and now Mayfield, who wasn't even like a candidate to be in the first or even second round start of the season, has now just skyrocketed his stock after his ridiculous Heisman season. So there are options out there, but like you said, man, I don't know.
If we
I don't know how I feel.
Field in like the third round, would you cum your pants?
Say it again.
Would you cum your pants if we got Baker Mayfield in the third round?
Oh, I'd freaking do a jig naked in my development.
For those of you that don't know, Nunzi's loves Baker Mayfield, and we have to suffer through some text messages about how much he loves him sometimes.
I really do think he's a little misunderstood, and what happened with Johnny Manziel, people are just making similarities, which I don't think are warranted. He's a very eccentric guy, and he's got so much intensity and so much love for the game. I just love it. And I know he doesn't have, I know he got in trouble with the law, and that video's all around of him getting tackled. Actually, Barstool made a funny little video of it. I mean, not really a video, but they showed the video, and the caption was, "Here's the only defense that can tackle Baker Mayfield."
I was just going to say that. The only thing that can stop Baker Mayfield is himself and Arkansas police.
But to be honest, guys, I mean, I've watched a lot of this guy, and I actually watched his the E60 on him, and he really, dude, he was a guy. He grew up there. He grew up rooting for Oklahoma, and saying as a 9-year-old, saying he's going to be the quarterback or he wants to be the quarterback of the Oklahoma Sooners. He kind of got spurned. He was, he's a smaller guy, put up some good high school numbers, but got spurned from big schools, and ended up being a walk-on at Texas Tech. Got in there, started for them because a guy got injured, and for some reason, Kingsbury just didn't like him enough. So when the guy came back from injury, it was kind of like a question after Baker had such a great year. And Baker's sitting there like, why are you even questioning? You know, I'm the guy. I had a great season for you. And I think that really turned him off. So then, listen, he met with Stoops, actually, talked to him and transferred there. And, you know, and there you go, man. And then he battled Trevor Knight for the job and ended up winning it. And then, Jesus Christ, man, look what he did the past couple of years.
Yeah.
He was in the Heisman voting the last 3 years, too.
And I think Mayfield, I think the comparisons with Manziel are stupid. You know, Baker Mayfield is a quarterback, man. He really is. He doesn't get enough credit for how he handles himself in the pocket, as he should. Now, does it translate to the NFL? I don't know. You never really know. You know, Blake Bortles was a you know, terrific looking college quarterback. So you never know. But he's already 10 times better than Johnny Manziel ever was. I mean, Manziel, he was an athlete who had a good arm. You know what I mean? Mayfield is a quarterback that can run. There's a big difference. So yeah, I think Mayfield can be a really good NFL quarterback. And by the way, you mentioned how he walked on at Texas Tech. He's the first Heisman winner to be a walk-on out of high school.
Yeah, I love that.
I mean, so you talk a little bit of a rags to riches there. And you know, if we're talking about quarterbacks here in the draft, I mean, this kid Lamar Jackson. You talk about a kid who doesn't get enough credit for his quarterbacking, pocket passing. I mean, because, I mean, he is a hell of an athlete, so you automatically think, well, you know, he's not going to be able to be a quarterback in the NFL. And I was guilty of that, too, a couple months ago. I said, oh, he might be one of those project players where they try to change his position or, you know, do a Terrell Pryor kind of thing, whatever. But the more I read about him from NFL scouts, he can play quarterback, and he is going to be drafted as a quarterback and given a chance to play quarterback in the NFL. So you got to throw his name in the mix too.
Good point.
Because you want to talk about dynamic player, Lamar Jackson. I mean, he won the Heisman last year. Yeah, that kid's something else too. This Josh Allen, I root for the kid. I like him. You want to talk about chip on your shoulder and not being recruited by a big program. That kid is the poster child for that. But you hear a lot of comparisons to Carson Wentz just because of the size and the small school, kind of same area of the country, this and that. And a scout said, you know, that comparing him to Carson Wentz is ludicrous and not fair to Carson Wentz because this kid Allen still he's going to be a project in the NFL. He has a lot of tools. He can throw the ball a mile. And you love the size, but you know he had some really bad games this year against shitty teams. But yeah, the quarterback class as a whole, I mean, there's definitely some interesting guys. So if the Giants want to go that route, I mean, I'm sure they're already doing their work on these kids, but they'll have something to pick from if they decide to go that way.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's good analysis of a couple of those guys. And, you know, I wasn't even thinking about Lamar Jackson until a few days ago, too. And, I saw him, you know, with the Heisman presentation. His numbers are amazing. He was stuck on a team that just, you know, underperformed a little bit again this year. And his numbers are unbelievable. But yeah, he's a guy that can throw out of the pocket too.
Yeah, and remember, he's running a Bobby Petrino offense. That's a pro style offense. That's
Right.
not a spread, one read and run kind of bullshit, you know, that a lot of these college kids run that will not translate to the NFL. This is a pro style complicated offense that he's mastered. So that's good news too for NFL scouts.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing you got to think about with Baker too, and you know, other people, if he's going to be anything in the NFL, you make the comparison to somebody like Russell Wilson, and that's what I've been making a comparison. Is he going to be Russell Wilson? Who the hell knows? He's the same type of player as Russell Wilson. Is a lot of similarities in Russell Wilson's play. The size, they're pretty much spot on. His vision down the field. Baker Mayfield doesn't get enough credit with his arm too, dude. He's got a rocket arm.
He does.
He really does. And his precision and his accuracy was unbelievable this year. Dude, he had 41 touchdowns and only 5 interceptions in a Big 12. In a Big 12 where all they do is throw the ball.
Right.
And he was, I think his completion percentage was like 70%, which led the nation. I mean, it's phenomenal.
He won the Heisman for a reason.
But I mean, you look at it, Oklahoma's offensive line probably the best in the country. So he's sitting behind a really good offensive line. Once you get to the NFL, who knows? I mean, especially if you get behind that Giants offensive line the way it is right now.
Well, whoever the new GM is, that's a task they know they have to address. And it's not an easy one.
And Rye, I hear the front runner right now is Gettleman. Gettleman.
Yeah, I heard.
Who's that?
Dave Gettleman, former GM of the Carolina Panthers.
Oh, right. Dave Gettleman. Okay.
So they say he's kind of like the front runner right now.
Leader of the clubhouse.
But I mean, they say that they're probably gonna hire a GM before the season is over, and then they'll go start looking for a coach if they haven't started already. It's going to be interesting, right? I mean, I really don't know how to look at this. I mean, we talked a little bit about it last podcast. There's a lot of names that are flying around. I was thinking about it to myself, and I'm like, I think I would be okay with one of those Patriots guys. I mean, they come from a winning program over there. They sit under probably arguably the best coach ever in football. I mean, how can it be bad to bring that pedigree over with them? I don't know. I was thinking about what do you think about it? If they go out and get a guy like Josh McDaniels, would you like that?
No, I was warming up to the idea too. I mentioned on the last, not the last pod, but a couple of pods ago, I said, hey, if we end up with one of these guys, that's not the worst thing in the world. The idea, because I honestly have no idea who I want.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna. Unfortunately, after these last 2 years of brain dead decisions, I'm gonna have to trust the organization. So let's just see. I'm gonna take the wait and see approach.
That's what we have to do, man, and we have to. But finding a GM first. Let's get somebody in there with some experience and just somebody that's just a fresh set of eyes from that position. The draft's going to be interesting this year. Like we said, they're going to be top 3. They have to be at this point. Like you said, the way Jimmy G's playing, he's probably going to win another couple games. But we'll see. Top 3. We'll see position wise where things fit. Got to have a good draft this year, man. Got to have a good draft, especially having such a high pick. You gotta get it right. I know that sounds easy enough. You got to get it right, but I mean, geez, after a season we just had, you got to get it right. And the turnaround of football is so quick that I'm not worried. After that draft, I'll start getting pumped up again because it'll be just a fresh new season. It's not like baseball where you got to rebuild. It's gonna be fun, but. Right now, this team sucks. I could see them losing the rest of their games and going 2-14. Can you?
Yeah.
I mean, how can you can't sit there and tell me they're going to win a game? You can't. I mean, possibly, yeah, but I don't see it. I know we play Arizona, but I feel like anybody we play is better than us right now.
I think everybody except for maybe the Browns, but even they would scare me.
Yeah, and that's a great segue into that unbelievable game because Michael, I got to watch it with my brother, and you know how crazy he gets during these games. I love the shit he says when the Packers are playing, and I mean, what a crazy game! But you know what? That's got to lift this team up a little bit the way that ended.
Well, I guess we'll find out. But and yeah, your brother cracks me up. Justin, if you're listening, he's come a long way. He used to be worse. He used to be much worse. Every game was the end of the world, and he's definitely gained perspective. Still struggles at times, like we all do. But yeah, listen, I don't know what to make of it. What does it mean in the season when you need overtime to beat a shitty Bengals team, a hapless Buccaneers team, and the biggest joke of a franchise on earth in the Cleveland Browns? I don't know what that means. It's 3 wins, so it can't be all that bad. But what do you make of it? Listen, the defense looked like they had no interest in the first half of this game, to be honest. The defensive linemen and everyone looked like they were going through the motions, to be honest, on defense early in this game. And and you're down 2 touchdowns. It had all the makings of, I really thought they were going to lose the game. And I actually texted Justin because I had a moment of weakness there. I said, listen, I almost want them. This was at 21-7 Browns. I said, I almost want them to lose this game, but only if you can guarantee me it gets Dom Capers fired. If you can guarantee me that, I would take this loss. I would pack up, a stress-free December and January, all that. But listen, they made plays when it counted. The punt return by Davis, obviously, huge, and that kid has been close for weeks to really breaking one. Now, he didn't score, but he was close, and obviously a huge play. The pressure by Matthews in overtime, forcing the tip throw, kind of popped it up in the air. Thought it was a miracle that someone actually came down with it, because those balls.
Yeah. There's like 16 guys around.
Someone's going to knock it out of the other guy's hands. But listen, Josh Jones, who had a ridiculous, I remember from his combine, had a ridiculous vertical jump, and you saw it in game action.
And let me just interrupt you, but I was laughing at that throw because that is Brown's life there.
It is.
Who the hell in their right minds would even attempt to throw that?
I don't know. He forced it. And listen, I don't know if Matthews doesn't get, hand on the ball or his hand, whatever he hit. Who knows what happens there?
Yeah, well, they scanned the back of the field. They had a nice little vision of it. And to be honest with you, dude, there really wasn't many people open.
Maybe we pick it off anyway.
Right.
And listen, Kaiser looked like Joe Montana, of course. That's a Dom Capers defense early in the game. Shredded zone coverage with no pressure. It's not that hard to do for anybody. So another great game plan out of the gates by Dom. But Brett Hundley, played great. He didn't throw for a ton of yards, but he was something like, let me get his numbers here. Brett Hundley was 35 for 46. 35 for 46. For 265 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Picked up 31 yards on the ground. A 19-yard run, a big run for a first down. Williams was kind of bottled up, but we talked about that going in. The Browns are very good against the run. And what did I tell you? They led the league in yards per attempt against on the ground, 3.3. Jamal Williams, 3.3 yards per carry on Sunday. Devontae Adams is he's an all-pro at this point, I think. He's that good. Another 10-catch performance, 2 touchdowns. The one to tie the game. Great throw by Hundley. It looked like a Rodgers-esque back shoulder throw. Just perfect.
Yeah, that was good.
So, we escape is the best way to put it. We were about to look lost. It looked like we were going to lose to the Browns. And we win in overtime. So, listen, it gets interesting now. It really does, because we know what's been looming for weeks. And the Packers knew what they had to do. And both things, we've kind of hit a point here. Aaron Rodgers is eligible to return from injured reserve. The Packers have won these games to stay at 6 losses to give ourselves a chance. The only thing is, now Rodgers had all his scans done yesterday. They found out the collarbone is not 100% healed. It's about 80% healed, but they said that was kind of to be expected, that 80% is good enough. It wasn't going to be enough time to fully heal. So what do you do?
How do you feel about that? One fall again on that collar, on that shoulder, man.
I don't know how I feel about it.
Ugh.
I don't, and no one does. Now, from what I've read, I've been following it all day. They actually were expecting a decision tonight. So while we're on here tonight, I may be getting an alert on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure everyone will be getting alerts on their phone with the decision, because Packard team doctors, they brought in independent guys to look at this. They're trying to get as many opinions as they can. Rodgers desperately wants to play. You would expect that. But these doctors don't know. And the Packers are notoriously cautious with their players. Martellus Bennett obviously disagrees. So I'm not going to know. Now it's interesting. Now, can Brett Hundley go to Carolina and win? I don't know. I mean, Carolina's playing really well right now. It's not like Aaron Rodgers isn't going to guarantee you a win down there either. Even if we run the table and get to 10-6, that's not guaranteeing a playoff spot. So it's definitely a really tricky risk-reward situation here. Like you said, another fall on that collarbone, and we could be looking at something catastrophic here. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is, at the end of his prime, we'll say, but Packers and Packers fans still have plans of having Aaron Rodgers for, another, several more years here. So, I don't know how I feel about it. Now, if Aaron Rodgers feels confident enough to go and play, I would say, let him play, because we do have a shot to make the playoffs here. And you know what? If the Packers win out, which obviously we know they need to do, and the Vikings lose out, the Packers win the division.
That's amazing.
Unlikely, I'll give you that. But we've seen the Vikings do some funny things in the past. I know they're a pretty good squad this year, but just that kind of puts in perspective that the Packers are very much alive here. So damn, I don't know. You want them to play, and you kind of roll the dice, and try to game plan. Obviously, help and protection, but you can't listen. If you're so worried about a guy getting hurt, then he can't be out there. If Aaron Rodgers can't be Aaron Rodgers, then he can't be out there. So, very, very dicey situation.
Yeah. It's so, you lose one or two of those games and you're not even talking about this,
Right.
You're not even talking about this. You're saying, nope, you're not playing. It's very simple.
And listen, and this is not to say that, okay, it's 80% healed. We want to give it another week, and you keep running with this Hundley madness, and see if he can do it one more week. And then if he does, reevaluate Rodgers, and you could take it week by week, as dire as it is in terms of needing wins. Hundley has played well, so you could argue that he's earned another start. So a lot to think about, a lot to process. But Yeah, we're just waiting on word to see if they can come to a decision, and we're expecting it sometime tonight. So.
It should be interesting, man. Should be interesting which way they're going, which way they're leaning.
Yeah,
Obviously, you guys winning games made it tough, made it a tough decision right now. I don't know how I would feel about that. Rye, how would you feel if that's your quarterback, man, and knowing he's 80% healed?
I don't know. Have to leave it up to Rodgers, I guess. I mean, you go 80%, and if the doctors say he's okay to play at 80%, then you say, hey, Aaron, and I'm pretty sure he'd say yes. And I think you go for it.
Especially if you have a chance.
Yeah,
they have a chance. And if they limp into the playoffs, I think they have a very good chance of winning with him.
Oh,
Why
absolutely.
not?
Why not?
Yeah.
Exactly.
A rejuvenated running game we found out of necessity with Rodgers. And, you always have a shot with him, man. You always do.
Yeah, I mean, at least Jacksonville helped you out this week. I mean, we had a lot of good games this week. I'm talking the Jacksonville-Seattle game, Rams, Eagles, Packers, Browns. I mean, the Falcons-Saints was a good game. It was close. I don't think it was a good game, but it was close. 49ers, Texans. Watching Jimmy G is fun. And then we had the snow game.
Oh, that was crazy.
Bills and the Colts, fantastic watch. I didn't get to watch it, but I saw the highlights and saw some pictures. Fantastic.
I watched a little of it. It was pretty, dude. It was like 4 inches down there, and they're trying to run through it. It's so funny. It was really funny.
For the 36 times for 130 yards. They play this week on like a Thursday, I think, right? Aren't they the Thursday night game this week?
The Colts and Colts Broncos, right?
I mean, is he going to be able to get touches? 36 carries on Sunday, and they come play Thursday now? I don't know, but
Hell yeah.
I got to hand it to Frank Gore and LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah.
Great job in that game. And let me just read you this. Frank Gore, who was done 7 years ago, right?
Yep.
762 yards again this year. He has a chance to get 1,000 again.
That's amazing.
He is a Hall of Fame back. This guy is a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, it's amazing that he's still going.
So crazy. How about the leading passer in that game was Brissett with 69 yards? And the leading receiver was Kelvin Benjamin with 38.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was at the half, but I'm pretty sure that I think there was 7 passes thrown in the first half or something.
It's just all runs.
It's so funny. Oh, that's good. It was good though.
Like a high school game, old school high school football game.
Yeah, that's fun. That is fun stuff.
Yeah, Right, you're right. Football was fun to watch this weekend. There was many solid games out there. I mean, the Philly Rams game was a good game too to watch. I mean, unfortunately for Philly fans, they lost their franchise quarterback for the year to a torn ACL.
Yeah, that's rough.
Another All-Pro in the meat wagon.
Yep, just add it to the list of those of the All-Pro injured team.
It's crazy.
That's a tough one.
And how about Jacksonville beating Seattle too? And you got to give it.
Yeah, but what an awful end of that game with the guys trying to fight people. I'm like, come on.
I know. These guys are so ridiculous. These fans just get drunk and stupid too, throwing bottles and shit. Come on.
No, I know. Get a hold of yourself.
I mean, I get drunk and stupid sometimes, but I don't do shit like that.
No, I ain't throwing anything at a guy that big.
Exactly. Are you kidding me?
Like you have some sort of security. Here he comes climbing into the stands. And what are you going to do now?
Exactly.
After you clean the shit out of your pants, what are you going to do? You run, idiot.
Oh, man. You know what, too? Then I don't think – and the Jets might not win another game this year either. McCown broke his hand.
Yeah, Bryce Petty time.
Yep, they got demolished by Denver. So They might end with 5 wins.
Yeah, but you know who might make the playoffs? The Buffalo Bills.
They might, but dude, I am still flabbergasted with this Tennessee Titans team. What on their team? I was trying to figure this out. Who or what on this team has played well? I'm serious. They just lost 12-7 to Arizona. That was like probably one of the worst games there.
I'll tell you two guys, Derrick Henry and Delaney Walker.
Like even Mariota, 10 touchdowns, 14 picks this year.
And you know what? Mike Mularkey, this fucking guy. Inherits a team and a quarterback in Mariota who has a very exciting skill set. And they just turn it into this just ground and pound offense.
Yeah.
Totally underutilizing the kid. The running game has hit a complete wall, and Mariota's struggled big time. Mularkey, even your name just sounds like garbage, like Mularkey. The team is just Mularkey,
It's a Mularkey team.
The offense is Mularkey. He's Mularkey. Even to look at, he's Mularkey. And he's just like, I don't know. Yeah, Mariota takes a lot of, have to take a lot of blame. He hasn't played well. But it's like, you turn it into a game manager when he can be a game wrecker. You know what I mean? Mularkey.
I don't know. That team boggles my mind because they're still in it too.
Yeah, they'd make if the season ended today, they'd make the playoffs. So would the Bills, by the way.
Bills Mafia.
Because the Bills would have the tiebreak over the Chargers and the Ravens.
And that's the Sunday night game was pretty unbelievable too.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I work with a buddy of mine that's a Ravens fan, and I guess he made a bet with another coworker who's a Steelers fan, and they had to wear the other team's jersey. And I saw my Ravens fan buddy with a Steelers jersey on the other day. I was like, oh my God, I feel you.
Ouch.
That's a brutal loss.
Yeah, for a Ravens team who we've ripped and criticized for how terrible their offense was, scored 38 points against a pretty good Steelers defense. Oh, man. I'll tell you one thing, though. Okay? Listen to this. Ben Roethlisberger, first quarterback in history to have 3 500-yard passing games. How about that?
Yeah.
She won that one. Yep. In history. First quarterback in history.
500 yards in a game.
He has 3 of them. I remember that the last one. I think it was against the Colts.
Colts.
Against the Colts.
I think it
threw
was
like 6 touchdowns or something like that.
Yeah. That was like last year, I think.
No. That was a few years ago.
I think it wasn't that long ago. Maybe
it wasn't that long ago. It was only maybe like 2 or 3, but yeah.
Well, I would bet Antonio Brown was on the team at the time. Let's put it that way.
He was. Who also had 213 receiving yards the other day.
Can Antonio Brown get some MVP votes this year? Listen.
They never even consider receivers.
I know, but
ever.
Oh, dude.
I know.
Dude.
He could be considered every year, no?
And I'm not the biggest Antonio Brown fan, but he is literally unguardable. Uncoverable.
They say he's the best route runner maybe in history. That's how good he is. And
I don't think we're going to get into FanDuel tonight, but I was just looking at it, putting a team together for just my first glance kind of lineup. And I look at Brown, I'm like, oh, but it's the Patriots. Oh, Belichick. Oh, we're not going to let Antonio Brown beat us. I don't think it fucking matters anymore.
No, it doesn't.
I don't think he can. You can't take him out of the game.
He's good.
He's good. He's good.
He's good.
He's good at catching footballs.
He's good. Yeah, it was pretty exciting football, guys.
Well, you know what's interesting about that, guys? The guy that might have been the front runner for MVP just tore his ACL.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that opens the door here for Brown a little bit. I mean, Brady losing to the Dolphins last night.
2 bad games in a row for Brady.
Yeah, it can't help his case.
Tommy.
I think Brown could be in the mix this year.
Yeah, you would think so, but they never seem to put receivers on there.
By the way, the Knicks went to overtime, Rye, and they're up 6, and Frankie Smokes Ntilikina is having a monster game.
Yeah,
I'm watching it right now on this side iPad thing right here. Just the scores. Right. I see them winning. I know I was pumped up when I saw 99-99. I was going to overtime. Yes, got a few guys left. All right. Oh boy. Let's switch gears a little bit. We got some baseball. We haven't talked baseball in a while.
Yeah.
Why don't we start with your New York Yankees, Michael? Talk a little bit about what happened over the weekend.
I don't know what happened. No, I'm just kidding. Listen, a move that I didn't really think was going to happen. At first glance, it doesn't really make sense. With they both, Aaron Judge plays right field. Giancarlo Stanton plays right field. They're kind of like the same guy. Stanton obviously more seasoned, but listen, when Stanton says I'll accept a trade to 4 teams, and you have to give up. Listen, I like Starlin Castro, but you have to give up peanuts to get this guy, and just pay most of the money. That's all the Marlins wanted to do, was dump salary. How can you not love it? I mean, Christ, you pretty much just got him for nothing, really. So Cashman again, a beautiful son of a bitch. It's like, Ohtani says no Yankees. Cashman goes, okay, I'll check this shit out. Like 2 days later, like my ass were on the back burner. And then they keep it going today. They move Headley. They trade Chase Headley back to San Diego, along with Brian Mitchell. In a salary dump of our own, we get back a 28-year-old minor leaguer. It was just a total salary dump. He actually got the Padres to take it all $13 million of Headley's salary next year. I guess the upside of Mitchell's arm kind of convinced him to do that. Which another beautiful move, because Mitchell we've given 9 billion chances and he just never gets it together. And this opens up more room. I mean, I think so now Castro's gone, Headley's gone. I think it pretty much guarantees a spot for Gleyber Torres next year, either at second or third, but depending on what Cashman still has in store here. I think it brings Todd Frazier back into play, which I would like to see. I think Todd Frazier was a great fit last year. He played pretty well. We all know what kind of hitter he is, but he had some clutch hits last year, especially down the stretch. He plays a good third base. Just kind of fit that team beautifully. Great clubhouse guy, Nuns, as you like to say. Great in the clubhouse. Local guy. It was a perfect fit. So if you want to bring him back, put him at third. Torres at second. Remember, you still have guys. You still have a decent rotation with Torreyes, Tyler Wade. So Christ, Cashman just cementing his legacy as he goes here. I mean, the outfield, got more crowded. It was already a crowded kind of area. Now even more so. Obviously, Stanton will be doing a lot of DHing. Judge as well. But Ellsbury's the interesting piece here. Gardner's going to be in left. You would think Hicks is the favorite to be in center field, and then the Twin Towers in right. But Ellsbury has a full no trade, and it sounds like he will not accept a trade anywhere. He wants to stay.
He's not going anywhere.
We just can't get rid of him, and I think he thinks he can win this center field job back. And you know what? Good for him, man. And you know what? Obviously, they're not going to give it to him. He's been the odd man out for a while now, so it would mean he earned it back in earnest. So that wouldn't be a bad thing. But yeah, he is not going anywhere. He's got a full no trade clause. He can veto any single trade he wants. So we could put together a beautiful package and move him, and even tell a team we'll eat 75% of the salary or whatever, and he can say, "No, I want to stay." And it sounds like that's going to be the way it goes here. So, Gardner, Hicks, Stanton, Judge, Ellsbury, Clint Frazier, who had a taste of the big leagues last year and didn't look totally overmatched. So a crowded outfielder gets even more crowded. So it looks like Ellsbury versus Hicks in spring training, which I fucking can't wait for. That will be a battle for starting center fielder. But Cashman, Jesus Christ, does it again.
No, it's a great move. It makes us as Met fans just, I don't know, feel like we just have a big load of shit in our pants or something, because we don't do anything.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the Wilpons for a second. Now, Dave, who texted us all that snippet. I mean, listen, we know the Wilpon situation. Ever since the Madoff thing, they just. It's not like they're. I mean, it is because they're cheap, but it's almost like they cannot spend the money. It's almost like either they don't care, which is horrible, or they can't do anything about it, which is worse. So I think Rob Manfred has a situation on his hands here. It's kind of it's kind of gaining a little traction. I feel like it's getting beyond just frustration of Mets fans with we never spent fucking money to these owners are horrible. Like these guys cannot be in charge of this team. It's bad for baseball. It's a team in the biggest market in sports. And you guys know the story. I mean, you guys have been Mets fans your whole lives. It's gotten to be too much. It really has. I think baseball has to do something about it.
Yeah.
When you have a competitive baseball team, and in 2015 we make it to the World Series, you have a small window of opportunity. We needed to that, and we let the window start to close, and that window is basically shut.
Yeah.
That was 2 years ago. We made the playoffs 2 years in a row, technically, with that wild card game. Sucked this year. Injuries after injury. I understand it. But you still have a team. You still have two number one aces. You still have Syndergaard and DeGrom. And if you get something from these other guys, that's great. And you have a couple of bats. I mean, a couple. But this is the time to add stuff to that. If your team is competitive, the Met fans show up. That will get your money back. That will make money. Sit there. Because if you don't spend, we won't show. Met fans don't show when we suck. The ballpark's empty every Tuesday through freaking Thursday. Monday through Thursday. And if they're good, people will show up. And I don't know how that is. If we got Giancarlo Stanton, we could have offered the same package. I know he wouldn't have came to us, but just say he would have. We could have offered the same package. That package wasn't spectacular. We could have offered something that would bring fans in the seats.
Mm-hmm.
But and then I look at this other trade the Yankees made, the Headley deal. Okay, love what the San Diego Padres did there. We'll take the money of this guy because we believe that this other guy, Mitchell, can become something. And that's an NBA deal. That's an expiring contract. The Headley money. That money doesn't matter to them because by the end of this year, it's off the books. So at the
Right.
end of this year, they have 13 million off the books in the Headley deal. And if something happens with Mitchell, then it was a great deal. Like the balls on AJ Preller there, making a move and eating money because the Mets don't ever eat money. Because if you need like say Ellsbury just likes New York. Say Ellsbury was willing to play for the Mets, and the Yankees were, like you said, would pay 75% of the deal, and us a prospect. I would love to be able to have the opportunity to just take a prospect in a deal like that. But the Mets would never do it because, we won't spend money on anything.
Yeah, I know. And listen,
It's
if
frustrating.
you go on Facebook, are you guys friends with Tommy Gilmore on Facebook?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you see the thing he posted?
No.
Missed it.
It's pretty much what Dave had texted us, but in a much broader, painted with a broader brush. And what it is, it's a petition, one of those change.org petitions you can sign that you usually see for like animal cruelty or some shit. No, this is a petition to force Rob Manfred to make the Wilpons sell the team.
Oh, I see it now.
Now listen to this. I'm going to read a little bit of this. I'm not going to. It's kind of long. I'm not going to bore everybody. But these two paragraphs just really drive this point home. The owners of the Mets, Fred and Jeff Wilpon, and Saul Katz, reportedly lost $500 million from their involvement in the Bernie Madoff Ponzi scheme. Because of this, the Wilpons have had to settle for loans, clearly indicating financial problems due to the money lost in the scandal. It resulted in ownership having to borrow an additional $430 million against the team, which is now down to $250 million, just a quarter billion, big whoop, and $450 million against SNY, which is now up to over $600 million with interest. Financing these debts, as well as the $43 million annual payment on Citi Field, cost the Mets over $100 million each year before any of the principal is even paid down. That's all interest. I mean, this is absolutely insane, okay? It goes on. Word on the street is that the only reason the current Mets ownership still owns the team is due to their relationship with current MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred, who constantly defends them despite the agony they put on the Mets faithful. This is bananas. I mean,
just sign the petition, by the way.
Yeah, no, I'll sign it too. This is absolutely
just did.
Listen, and this is coming from a diehard Yankee fan. It's more fun when the Mets are good, and this is so stupid. How do these guys own this team still? They're like, it reminds me of that guy who scammed the NHL into buying the Islanders, Spano. Remember that shit? Like, I don't know if the Wilpons are. Holy crap! This is not good. It's not good for baseball. And it's not good for your guys' mental health.
No, it's awful. It's awful. And I'm gonna sign that damn petition like tonight because
I just did.
Yeah, I love that you just did. I mean, getting shit done here on the pod tonight. Getting shit done, signing petitions and shit.
Because listen, this is a snippet from early in this little piece. The last time the Mets have been in the top 10 in payroll was 2011, right before the Bernie Madoff shit.
Mm-hmm.
Ding, ding, ding. So, yeah, the Wilpons, I mean, do you feel bad for them? I guess they got involved with a criminal and lost a lot of fucking money. But here they are, just hanging on to the Mets, being cheap all the time, and getting a shitty product most of the time that you guys have to deal with.
All we have to do, though, is sell the team. And no one will feel sorry for them because they're going to make, even though they're in debt here, the way the teams are getting sold for these days, the Mets might sell for $2 billion.
Yeah, you never know.
I mean, and then, so if that's the case, $2 billion, and then, oh, sorry, we're only going to get $1 billion to keep for ourselves because we have to pay off this debt or whatever. You know what I mean? They're going to be fine. It's ridiculous. Sell the team. What do you need it for?
No, I know. If you're hemorrhaging money. I mean, why haven't they just cut their losses? Now, Forbes magazine has the Mets valued at $1.65 billion.
Right, but if they went up for sale, I bet.
Oh, sure, yeah, right, and it'll be higher. Absolutely right. So there you go. I mean, I don't know, but another offseason is coming, and there's only December 12th, but you guys see Stanton getting traded to the Yankees and all these other big names flying around. And the Mets are never involved, and you guys will sign some 2-bit reliever for $800,000 a year. Whoop-de-doo.
Here today, guys that we were interested in. Brian Shaw, who was with Mickey Callaway and Cleveland, signed with the Rockies today. Tommy Hunter, who we were interested in, signed with the Phillies. Nishak signed with the Phillies. All these middle relievers are already getting off the board, and we're not even making plays on them, which would help our baseball team if you signed 3 of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we've been talking about, Rye, about getting relievers, shoring up that middle relief end of the bullpen. I mean, come on.
If you get DeGrom and Syndergaard out there pitching the way they should, and Cespedes healthy all year, and adding like bringing back like a Jay Bruce or even a Neil Walker, a guy that can be good if they play, every day, and you added 3 bullpen guys, you'll be competitive.
Yeah, and you get a season out of rookies like Rosario and Smith. See how they do their rookie year. You got some youth, and Conforto, the way he was hitting before he got hurt.
Right. Exactly. All right, enough about the Mets. This is really pissing me off.
It's pissing me off too.
No, I'm going to keep going because I'm looking at my favorite payroll website, spotrac.com. That's SPOTRAC.com. Like I'm plugging it or something. It's awesome.
Maybe our new sponsor.
All 4 major sports, yearly, by position, whatever you like. And I'm looking at the Mets. Okay, Yoenis Cespedes is owed $29 million this year. We know that. David Wright is owed $20 million this year. Asdrubal Cabrera, as you know, was re-signed, $8.5 million. Jerry Blevins, $7 million. Juan Lagares, $6.5 million. Everybody else is either in the arbitration years or still under full team control. That was like 5 guys with veteran status. That's it. I mean, how do you not start throwing some money around? I mean, listen, you're still paying Bobby Bonilla. You owe Carlos Beltran $3 million apparently this year. And you're still paying. You thought Bobby Bonilla is bad. You know who you owe $250,000 a year to for at least the next 5 years and probably beyond? Brett Saberhagen.
Oh yeah, I saw that too.
So I mean, it's $250,000. We're talking peanuts in the grand scheme.
But it's still money. It doesn't matter.
Maybe not to the Wilpons. It's so yeah. Those 5 guys I told you are the only guys that are like fully vested veteran status here. Everyone else, are either in their arbitration years or still under team control.
And some of these young pitchers are going to want to get paid very soon. So.
Oh yeah. Listen, Noah Syndergaard is going to his first year of arbitration. That's when it starts heating up. So, Conforto will be in that boat next year. So, Familia's a free agent next year. Harvey's a free agent next year. AJ Ramos is a free agent next year. So, the Mets don't want to spend money. They're going to have the issue forced on them with a lot of these guys. And, they'll probably handle it the wrong way because they always do.
They'll be back in the doldrums like usual.
It's like Stan, like you said, the window is like if it's not closed, it's cracked. And you better get your fingers out of there because it's closing.
Yep.
But my God, it's frustrating for me, and I'm a fucking Yankee fan.
They'll be back in the doldrums. Pit of misery, dilly dilly.
Dilly dilly. Need to send the Wilpons to the pit of misery, dilly dilly.
Yeah, exactly. Those assholes should be in the pit of misery.
Just
Throwing rocks at them.
other team, and the big news before Giancarlo Stanton was the Ohtani signing, and I just want to say that I'm really excited to see what they do with him. Like if he's DHing on the days that he's not pitching, if he doesn't hit the days that he does pitch or whatever, or if he ever plays a position. I can't wait to see it. I really can't.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting, dude, because any analyst or baseball mind that I've heard or saw on the TV all said that he can't do it. He's not going to be able to do both. It's just
bullshit.
It's too tough.
Why? I don't. Why?
Because I think he's more valuable as a pitcher, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I agree.
When you're a pitcher, you don't just throw every 5 days. Even on your off days, you have you do your running, you do your bullpen, you do this and that. So don't you feel like he's going to get messed up in his
maybe, but I think
in his I don't know.
Well,
I don't know because I was never a pitcher, so I don't know.
Well,
how that is.
I pitched in high school.
I know it's a lot different, but
it's quite the only thing I remember was Coach Argentina wouldn't let me play dodgeball in the days I was pitching. He would make me throw with my right arm. I was going to throw the dodgeball.
Throw at a tall, skinny guy.
That was the extent of it. But listen, we know baseball players are creatures of habit, and pitchers even more so. But this guy obviously has different habits. He's been doing this.
Well, you know what, though? I'm looking at his numbers from this like his Japanese numbers.
The Nippon Ham Fighters?
Yeah, exactly. The weird thing about it is he's only played 5 years. He's what, 22 or 23?
Yeah, he's 23, I think.
23, right.
His home run year was 22 home runs, and that was in 2016. He batted .322 with 22 homers. And then this year he batted .332 with 8 homers because
he was hurt this past year.
Right, he was hurt. So if I look at it, I don't know how many game seasons they have, but he's only played over 100 games once, and that was in 2016. So that was 100 games, and then he pitched 20 starts.
Mm-hmm.
So 320 at-bats and 20 starts. Now his numbers pitching 10-4 with a 1.86 ERA with 174 Ks and 140 innings. Those are monster numbers.
Yeah.
22 home runs and 67 ribbies.
Go with 100-mile-an-hour fastball too. Throws hard.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too. I'm just kind of spitballing and listening to what the analysts are saying. But you know what? I'd like to see if he can do it.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, because he wants to.
Just bat him in front of Mike Trout. He's got to get good pitches.
Yeah. Now here's the interesting thing. I think we all know, like Nuns, like you said, he is. I think he was brought here to pitch first and foremost. So saying now, listen, I fully expect this to happen. At least they're going to try it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, and whether it be DH, that would make the most sense. But whatever. Say he gets off to a slow start in April at the plate. Say he's pitching fine or whatever, but he's off to a 5 for 40 or whatever. How quick do they pull the plug on this two-side business?
It's tough.
That's going to be an interesting decision.
Very interesting.
You know what, they have a lineup now though, because they also have Justin Upton. They have Trout. They'll have him. They'll have Pujols, and I know Pujols isn't the same hitter that he used to be, but just to have him in the clubhouse, and I know Connie's a left-handed hitter. Is that correct?
Yeah, he's lefty.
Yeah.
Right,
I guess he might be switch. I've never seen him from the right, but definitely
me neither. Throws righty though, right? Yeah, I think he throws right.
But he's got some good veteran guys and veteran bats in that lineup that could protect him. So, 40 would be a rough start though.
Mike, you bring up an interesting point though, because like if he does struggle at the plate and this and that, you know how they you know how they baby pitchers these days. So, I mean, if he's struggling with the bat, that's only going to possibly take a toll on his arm. And then it can mess with his mind, and then he's all over the place. I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
It could, yeah. Because this is something that no team has ever had to deal with. How do you handle –
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, everyone slumps in baseball. It's a game of failure. You know that. You know how to handle pitchers who are struggling. You know how to handle guys slumping at the dish. But how do you handle a guy that is slumping at one when he has another job, or he's slumping at both? Or, you know, it's unprecedented, that's for sure. And Mike Scioscia's he doesn't know how to deal with it. He's never had to. So interesting is the word. Interesting.
Especially knowing baseball is such a mental game that it could be tough for the kid.
Yeah.
It really can. It can be really tough. But like you said, it's going to be interesting to see. And Rye, like you said, it's going to be exciting. Like, I want to see this. I do. I want to see it.
I'm pumped for it. Now, the thing is, too, is he didn't sign for much money because you can't sign these guys to these Daisuke Matsuzaka contracts anymore. So what does he have to do to keep that job, to keep hitting? Like, does he only have to hit 250? Like, you know, it's possible.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, that was kind of where I was going, and I forgot to ask that question. Like, what's good enough? Like, you know, how bad does he have to slump for them to say, okay, well, you know what, maybe this wasn't such a good idea? And in the same breath, right, what is good enough to let him keep doing it? Because no one knows.
Yeah, but I think you have to treat him just like a regular hitter. I mean, if he's hitting under 200,
yeah,
ugh,
right, he's gonna
a regular player won't play.
Right,
he'll get benched.
True.
But what about this, guys? What if he struggles at both?
Yeah.
So which one do you choose? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think they lean probably towards the pitcher first. But what if his ERA is up in the 8s?
Yeah.
He's giving up, you know, big home runs. He's last in 2-3 innings. I don't know. It's interesting. And then he's also hitting 200. Then it just looks like a terrible signing.
Yeah, but listen, it's still so young, you know.
Yeah, I hope he's good. I'm rooting for him to be good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care, to be honest with you. And even the more extreme part, bringing the guy in to be a pitcher, what if he sucks pitching and he's hitting over 300?
I know. It's crazy.
Well, then that may be an easy decision then. Maybe it's just, all right, you're hitting.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like you said, Mike, I mean, this has never been dealt with before, so we're just kind of spitballing here.
Yeah, we're just throwing baloney. But everyone is. That's the funny part. You know, it's not like, Major League managers and coaches and front office guys, they know a shit ton more than us. But on this one, we're all in the same boat.
Mm-hmm.
No one's dealt with this. I think that's the cool part about this. It's just uncharted waters.
Yeah, it's cool though. It's interesting. Like you said, right? It's gonna be fun to watch. It's gonna be real fun to watch, but we'll see how it all plays out. We'll see how it all plays out for the Mets too. We know they're gonna do nothing, get us pissed off, and we'll be screaming for football season again soon. I hate to be so negative about this team, but Jesus Christ.
That's true. That's true.
Find me a positive, please.
I can't.
Right? It's crickets because you can't.
I just looked at my Rolodesk.
Crickets.
It really is crickets.
I'll give you a positive. I'll give you a positive.
Yeah, give me one.
A healthy DeGrom, a healthy Syndergaard, a healthy Harvey, a healthy Cespedes, and
a healthy team, you mean?
Right. Well, listen, those are the most important guys.
Right.
And the expected steps from Dom Smith and Ahmed Rosario,
Okay.
Why not compete?
Oh, if that's the case, there's no reason we shouldn't compete.
Listen, Ray Ramirez is gone.
He's
It
still
would be
gonna very
miraculous if he
spirit.
stayed healthy.
You want a positive? He's gone.
If we stayed healthy this year, and I would, it would be like it would make our whole last 10 years true about Ray Ramirez.
Right.
It really would.
God. It would prove it all right.
Now, I'm glad, Mike. I'm glad you brought up Harvey. Right? Is this his last stand? Is this Custer's last stand?
Yep.
It has to be.
Yeah.
This is it, man.
He's a free agent at the end of the year. This is it. They put him in trade talks already for Profar and to the Orioles for and then Mickey Callaway, I think, got Alderson's ear and said, no.
Yeah,
Don't
that's
trade him.
exactly. Yep. Well,
Which
you
is
better have a good
good.
plan for him, Mickey.
Well, yeah, but you know what? You don't trade a guy when it's like you're selling, you're selling low, man. You want to sell high. Don't trade him now. You got to try to build his value, and if he doesn't, then
Yeah,
he
no.
doesn't.
He's the lowest of the low right now. You're not getting shit for him.
Right.
This is a guy that a few years ago we could have traded him for any guy in the league.
We possibly could have traded him for Mookie Betts years ago.
Oh, how great would that be?
It would have been phenomenal. But I mean, we didn't know what was going to happen to Harvey.
No, I know.
But yeah, at this point, it's like you're playing with house money here. If Stan, like you said, if he sucks, he sucks. You don't re-sign him. Goodbye. If he pitches well, and but the team has struggled, all of a sudden he becomes a really good trade chip again,
Right.
and you could start rebuilding the farm system.
And if he pitches well and we're good, then that's the win-win.
Right, exactly. Then he pitches and you're good.
Okay, and I think though, guys, he becomes. I don't think he's on our long-term plan, no matter what, because of the other guys we have to pay in terms of.
Yeah.
So, like you said, Mike, he needs to play well so he could be a nice trade chip right there.
Right.
Hey, or do you? I mean, this would be crazy because he was so bad last year. But if you start seeing him looking good in spring and he has some stuff and he's hitting his, has the velocity up in his fastball, do you throw him hey, we'll give you a 3-year, $18 million extension, so $6 million a year. See if he takes a nibble. You
love the 3-year deal, right?
I love the 3-year deal.
I know you do.
The bridge.
You get out from under it pretty quickly.
You do.
Your 3-year deal, the first year, the guy should be good. If he's good the second year, that's great. And if he's bad the 3rd year, it's a walk year, and the money's off the books.
I don't know. It might be too early to throw a contract at him. I know it's for kind of peanuts money, but I don't know.
Brett Saberhagen money.
Yeah.
Well, he made $5 million last year. He actually does he has an innings incentive in his contract.
Yes, he does. I know that.
It's not much, but if he reaches 150, he gets an extra $25,000 and an additional $25,000 for next 10 innings up to 180. So up to $100,000, I guess.
Oh, I'll give you 3 years, $18 million, and then I will give you a chance to earn $10 million more each year if you hit certain incentives late in the deal. I would do that.
Well, $10 million, that'd be a lot of incentives.
Well, yeah, but blow it out, make it like legit incentives, like 15 wins. I'll give you you get $5 million.
Well, then he'd be killing guys in the bullpen for blowing his games. He'll put a hit out on Familia, the first blown save in one of his games.
Oh. That's great.
It's so true, though. He needs to do well. This is his last stand, guys.
Yeah.
If he sucks, it's over. Goodbye.
And I know these deals don't make incentive laden deal for $10 million. I know it's ridiculous. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
Oh.
This team's got to stay healthy. That's the first thing they need to do.
Yeah.
Don't worry about playing well. Just freaking stay healthy first.
I just hate that we're frustrated about the Mets in December. This is ridiculous. Let me get the hell out of here and go to bed.
All right.
Yeah,
You're right, boys. It's time to end this.
time.
Mike, you got to be feeling good about baseball. You have to.
Yeah, I mean, what a lineup, huh?
What a friggin' lineup. I wouldn't want to face him. Thank God you're in the American League. Ryan, any
Yes,
last words before we go?
None. Nada.
None. Nada. I don't either. I mean, I'm done with the Giants. Let's move on. Mets are pissing us off already. It's December. Let's move on. Yankees made a blockbuster deal. Baker Mayfield, Heisman Trophy. Let's go
There you go.
Sooners.
Boomer
National
Sooner.
champs. Let's go, baby. Well, you know what? We'll be back, guys, for another podcast this week. Sometime we'll give you some FanDuel values, must plays. I just have to say, Mike, my Brent Hundley paid off. If you played him, good value at 69. Hundo.
Boom.
Boom, boom. So we'll give you some good ones. We'll make our weekly picks. I suck. Definitely in the doldrums in that one. But we will be back for that. We'll talk a little football, possibly some more hot stove. Maybe it'll heat up in the Major League world. Please follow us on iTunes, YouTube, SoundCloud, and Twitter handle at The Angry Hacks. Tweet us. And we'll be back soon, guys. So enjoy a couple days of good sports and have a great night.